So today we are looking at fractions, and this video is going to be just a light introduction to some of the basic fractions we observe. We'll be covering this in a lot of detail in the following few videos, but looking first at what we mean when we talk about fractions. So I'm going to draw probably very badly, but this is just a block of chocolate. This can be one of those, any of these blocks of chocolate where, um, let's say this has kind of two blocks joined together. Now, say I was with a friend and I just wanted to share one block with my friend. So I would break this apart. I'd break this block of chocolate apart, and I'd have one for myself and one for my friend. Now, the total amount of blocks there were two. Now, I've taken one, my friend has taken one, and we together each have one portion of a whole, an original kind of thing we had up here. So, thinking about what a fraction is, I have taken one portion of my whole of two, and my friend has also taken one out of two of these blocks. Now, we call this a half. So I have a half and my friend has a half. And we notice that fractions are some portion of a whole. They don't make up the whole thing. Now, we usually look at this when something is broken up into little pieces. We have multiple things that make up one whole. A good way to think of this, a good analogy I heard is that think of a word that sounds like fraction. And one that may come to mind is fracture. So when you fracture your bone, so you split it, however, you're playing sport, you fall and you have a fracture. What happens when you fracture something? It splits into multiple pieces of the one whole kind of bone that you had. Now, that is probably the easiest way to think of these fractions. Now, they are portions of a whole. They together make up the whole thing, but they're not that. So I have another block of chocolate here, and I split this up into three different bits. So I have another two friends. I split this up and I have one block here, I have one block here, and another block here. I have three different pieces that I've divvied up between all of my friends. Now, the way we write this, for example, we have kind of three separate little portions of chocolate that make up our whole. So we can say that each of us has 1/3 of a bit of chocolate together. Now, fractions fall in line. There's a big crossover between fractions, decimals, and percentages, which we will go over in the future. But the idea I just want to leave you with this video is the idea that we, at this sort of early stage, our most basic kind of fractions, they are some portion of a whole. They make up a whole thing. So I like the chocolate bar analogy because I'm breaking this up. For example, I have my bar on the right here, and that's broken up into three separate bits. If I take one, another friend takes one, and a third does, then we have 1/3 of this original chocolate bar. So I'll leave you with that, and we will be getting into fractions, decimals, percentages quite a bit more in the following videos. I'll see you then.